In 2011, Michael Hazanovich directed The Artist, a moving comedy and romance about the history of film between 1927 and 1932, and how it has progressed over the years from silent films to talkies. The study of film history has four basic approaches: the aesthetic approach, the technological approach, the economic approach, and the social history approach. The aesthetic approach looks at the films themselves and evaluates them on the influence of the film and the artistic significance. The technological approach is the look into the advancements in technique and the material used to make the film over time. The economic approach is the background and economic history at the time of the film being made and how the historical period of the film affected the way it was made. And finally, the social history approach is how society and culture influence the film, or the other way around, how the film influenced society. The approach I will be focusing on is the technological approach. In an interview with Collider, the director, Michael Hazanovich, stated that they think that silent movies are old, but the fact is they are old because they have been made in the 20s. That's the thing that makes them old, not the format. The format is just a format. It's not an old format. He states that they didn't use old cameras when making the film and that it wouldn't have made sense to use something that old since technology has advanced so far. When talking about using new technology, he says when he walks out of the cinema and goes down the street and there's a line and they're all waiting to see Beauty Spot. When there's a shot like this, it would be stupid to use an old camera, an old crane. It would take hours. Now we do it with remote control. The technician was really good. It's not an easy shot to do, but with a modern crane you get time and quality. The advancements of the techniques in film have made the process of making a film much easier, and now people save time and money and get some extra quality in there as well. In the film, sound is used as a narrative to move the plot forward and let the audience know what is happening. When there is an intense scene where people are mad, the music picks up tempo and there are more cymbal crashes. The music becomes less sweet and light and more dramatic. When Peppy and George are having their flirting scenes, the music is light and pleasant to the ear. This sound tells the audience what kinds of emotions the actors are feeling, even if the audience can't understand the French slides in the film that sometimes tell the dialogue. They can still understand what is happening because of the music. There are also some points when the music stops altogether, and that raises the audience's attention. When Peppy left George's dressing room, she turned around and looked at him, and the music stopped. This shows pivotal parts in the film, and really makes the viewer pay attention. In the same way, the sound is used to show shifts in reality. When George is having a nightmare, there is no soundtrack, but instead you can hear all the sounds in his world, like a cup cleaning on the table or the woman laughing outside. The sound is to portray a shift in reality, a nightmare, and as soon as George wakes up, the sound goes back to a soundtrack, which shows that he isn't dreaming anymore. Although sound isn't the only narrative in the film, the camera is too. For example, during the auction scene, the camera shifts from the auctioneer to the woman's gloved hand that is being raised. The camera told the story in this way to make it seem like it was Peppy's gloved hand. The camera is the narrator in this way because it tells the story through what the lens wants you to see. And when the camera finally reveals the woman is not Peppy, then the audience will know also. This film was a very interesting one for me. I had never seen a silent film before and I quite enjoyed it. During the film, I kept on noticing references to other films within The Artist. The reference that really caught my eye was the dinner scene with George and his wife and how it reminded me of Citizen Kane. The Artist shows the time passing by at the dinner table by them going back and forth from each other in different outfits, all the while the wife getting increasingly more annoyed. By the end of the reference, she is drawing on the newspaper with George's face on it. This is almost exactly what happened in Citizen Kane. I then researched what other references could be in the film, and I was surprised how many there were. The film references The Mark of Zorro, Singing in the Rain, and Vertigo. According to an Atlantic article, this shows how much the artist focused on the history of film by referencing all these older films.